If you look back at the last 20 or 30 years, it's been about 55 or 60, meaning it took fewer silver ounces to buy 1 gold ounce, meaning silver was valued higher relative to gold. So when silver hit $50 back in 1980, gold peaked at about $850 and silver peaked at about $50. The ratio was just under 15, but to make it simple, we'll go with 15. So to reiterate, it took 15 at that point in time, it took 15 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. If you you have to make assumptions to look forward. So I have been saying for more than 10 years, probably 15 years, I think that now I think it's higher, but I'm going to stay with that. The ultimate peak, I think, in gold will be about $5,000 US. We're almost halfway there now. So if we do reach $5,000 in gold and we reach half of the ratio peak of 15 to 1, let's say we reach 30 to 1, which is more conservative still, of the number of ounces of silver required to buy 1 ounce of gold. So at a 30 to 1 ratio with $5,000 gold, you're at $333 silver. And so I did this calculation, and then I did it with other metrics. I looked at the average US house price back in 1980 versus today. I looked at the Dow to silver ratio back then, and then again now. And each time, each calculation brought me to a range somewhere between about $250 or $280 to about $330. So for
Real World Asset Wealth: How to Protect Your Wealth from the Upcoming Financial Impact. Download this brand new report for free and get instant access to our resources. Click the button below the video now.
I mean, look, we're forecasting what could happen years ahead. All kinds of things can happen. So I think it's silly to be very specific. And so I said, okay, I'll pick a round number. $300 is that range. That seems realistic in that sense, based on all these, past events, really. So that's how I get to my $300 silver forecast.
Let's hope so. I wouldn't mind 300 silver. Pete, I want to hear your angle on one particular commodity, and I will quote you here: silver, the new oil, and the next uranium. What's your take on uranium?
I think that uranium has a lot of juice left in it. I think that we've been hearing things about how, for example, I believe it's Kazakhstan just decided to increase their taxes on uranium. Now we're hearing that in the US, they are streamlining permitting for building nuclear reactors, etc., for mining as well, to allow projects to move forward faster. All of this is like we call onshoring, trying to, and this a lot of it has to do with geopolitics, but it also has to do with the effects of COVID and becoming more self-reliant within our own borders, or at least with what we feel are, allies, countries that we're comfortable with. And so for these reasons, I think that a lot of the world is turning towards uranium. You have a few holdouts, of course, but I think that we're going to see that more and more. I think that, uranium at $78, $80 is still relatively cheap. It's obviously a long way from where it was just a couple of years ago. But I don't think we're anywhere near the peak. And it's been a very good run for the uranium price. It's been a very good run for a lot of uranium stocks, but not all of them. They have not all participated. And I think that it still has a lot of upside left. I think that the equities will follow in that continued run. That's the other yellow metal that I like very much besides gold. And, Yeah, that's absolutely one that I have exposure to, and I will continue to maintain exposure.
Yeah, do you mind if I ask you what kind of exposure do you have in uranium without any names? Those the explorers, the producers, the developers?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
Okay.
so across the board, mature producers have had a tremendous run actually the last couple of years. We are seeing developers that have, facilities and that have installations that are uh, that you simply cannot reproduce, that are next to impossible to permit, let's say today, mills and all these kinds of
Yeah.
facilities that are very, very valuable. And the more this market matures, the more valuable those will become, because the miners will have nowhere to turn except for the few that have the perhaps unused capacity to treat some of their ore. So, and when you move down the range to explorers, there's some very, very nice, excellent quality names. Um, I just think that many of them, if you do your homework, they're undervalued, uh, tremendous potential. So I have exposure, as I say, right across the board. And I think that it's something for most to look at. You can do, depending again on your risk tolerance,
Of
do
course.
like I was suggesting with silver. If you have lower risk tolerance, obviously you don't want to own some physical uranium, but you can own some through the Sprott ETF,
Exactly.
which has done wonders for this space. And so that's one way to own exposure to the uranium price. And then you can own some larger producers and some developers as well. So yeah, that's absolutely an attractive sector, very much so.
Love to hear that you're bullish on uranium. My final question: give us your five commodities that you are the most bullish on, and give us your three commodities that you are bearish on.
Wow. So let's see, that's a bit tough, I must admit. So in order, I would probably say most bullish would be silver, gold, uranium, copper. So that's four. And after copper, I don't know enough. I don't follow enough any of the soft commodities like the agricultural. Um, but I would say perhaps, and these are sometimes difficult to trade in, but perhaps something like
Potash.
potassium or some of the fertilizers. I think that they have tremendous upside.
Yeah,
In
agreed.
in terms of so the second part was the most bearish.
Three most bearish.
Oof, that's even harder. The reason I say that is because I think that we really are at the very beginning of a multi-year commodity bull market. And I think that the first part of this commodity bull market will be driven by